You ever have one of those days where you feel completely drained? Like your personal battery is just stuck on 1%? But then you look over and someone else seems to have this endless supply of energy? It's a feeling we all know, and it's actually the core idea we're going to break down today. We're going to dive into two totally different ways of looking at life's most valuable resource, your own personal energy.
And that brings us to this question, right here. This is straight from a character in the source material named Diesel. He's tired, he's feeling overwhelmed, and he's looking at his friend Evan, and he just can't wrap his head around the difference between them. Why does he feel like he's stuck with a leaky faucet, while Evan seems to have this personal waterfall? It's a question that really gets to the heart of how we all approach our lives.
So, where does the answer lie? Well, it's all in the dynamic between these two guys, Diesel and Evan. They basically represent two completely opposite philosophies on life. And understanding them, well, that's the key to this whole idea of a personal energy economy.
And here you have it in their own words. It couldn't be clearer. Diesel calls himself a spender. He literally says he embraces a lifestyle that drains him just to fulfill every little desire. And then you've got Evan, the investor, who's all about consciously investing his energy instead of just, wasting it. It's consumption versus cultivation. A total clash of mindsets from the get-go.
And this difference, man, it goes so much deeper. Diesel's go-to move is to blame everything else. He thinks the system is rigged against him. Evan, though, he looks inward. For him, the answer isn't about changing the system. It's about building up your own personal responsibility and self-discipline. So, how can we make this kind of abstract idea of energy feel a bit more real? Well, the source material gives us this really powerful metaphor. It asks us to think about our personal energy, what it calls chi, as if it were money sitting in a bank account. And this life chi energy, it's not just about feeling tired or awake. It's the fuel for everything you do. Your ability to work, to focus, to say no to that extra piece of cake. And just like money, you can spend it, you can save it, you can waste it, or you can invest it. And this quote from Evan just nails it. This is the core of his entire philosophy. He keeps dropping these little hints to Diesel, trying to connect the dots between being smart with money and being smart with your energy. The idea is so simple but so powerful. If you invest your energy wisely, let's say in learning a new skill, it doesn't just vanish, it grows, and it gives you bigger returns later on.
Okay, so let's keep that money metaphor in our back pocket. Now we're going to break down exactly how these two ways of living, the spender and the investor, actually work in the real world.
All right, first up is Diesel's cycle, and you can see right away it's a downward spiral. It starts with just spending on every whim. No surprise, that drains his cash and his energy. But his next move isn't to cut back. Nope, it's to borrow more, digging himself into a deeper hole. And the whole cycle just ends with him waiting for a friend, the lottery, anyone to come and bail him out.
Evan's cycle, on the other hand, is a mirror image. It starts with conservation, being smart about where his energy and money go. Any surplus he creates doesn't go to impulse buys. It goes into smart investments like building skills. Over time, this builds up a huge reservoir of resources. And that's where the payoff is. That's where he gets that waterfall of energy that Diesel is so jealous of.
This table just lays it all out side by side. It's fascinating. Just look at how they see effort. For Diesel, it's something to get someone else to do. For Evan, it's a chance to get better at something. Or how about friendship? For Diesel, it's a safety net for bailouts. For Evan, it's built on respect. I mean, they're living in two completely different worlds.
So what does a spender's investment strategy actually look like? Well, get this. Diesel's big investment is lottery tickets. He even staples the losing tickets to his wall. He's got this idea that just having a huge number of tickets will magically increase his chances of winning. It's a pretty wild visual for a life plan that's based entirely on luck instead of actual work.
And this is where the conversation takes a really interesting leap. It zooms out from just being about personal habits to being about society as a whole. Diesel takes his spender mindset and basically blows it up to a global scale to justify his own behavior. So here's what he does. He argues that just like he expects his wealthy friend Evan to pay off his debts, wealthy countries should have to pay off the debts of their friend countries. His own personal wish for a bailout becomes a whole worldview where this massive redistribution of wealth is just the way things should be. In response to Diesel's worldview, Evan introduces this term, slow socialism. And as it's defined in the material, it's what happens when you apply the spender philosophy at a government level. It's a system of constantly giving out money that, in his view, just can't last, because eventually you run out of other people's money.
But after all the debating,
All the big ideas and metaphors, the whole conversation gets boiled down to one simple, actionable takeaway from the investor's perspective.
And there it is. It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But this is the entire investor philosophy in a single sentence. There's no magic trick. It's about treating your energy like a budget. You maximize your income, you save as much as you can, and you cut your expenses. That's the whole game.
And that brings us to the final question, the one this whole explainer leaves for you to think about. If your personal energy really is like a bank account, what does your balance sheet look like right now? Are you operating with a surplus, or are you in a deficit? Are you a spender, or are you an investor? It's definitely something to chew on.